Hi everybody, welcome to All Four Queens. Hope everyone's doing well. It's the afternoon. Bit chilly here I think, but not too cold, but I hope it's okay where you are and you're enjoying your day. So I did Deuteronomy, but before I post that, I want to post this one because I feel like I need to post this one first. I think we can all start to feel there's a bit of an energy shift, and I think in a lot of my recordings I've sort of said there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of frustration, I think, and I think probably a little bit of unsettledness in the fact that people have found themselves in a position where, in one of my very early ones, I said be mindful what you do because we will have to face our karma in this lifetime. Now, there's a couple of things I just want to say because I think, it's no secret. This is a spiritual channel. No secret that people dabble in the dark. And like I've said, I have no problem as long as you're honest about it. So people have a choice as to whether they operate with you or they don't. But one of the things that I do want to make clear as well, there's a lot of projection at the minute, and there's a lot of people throwing out confusion, conflict, magic, and all this sort of stuff. And that can either be they're saying negative things about you, or they're actually paying people to try and block you and do stuff. And just be mindful of it. You might wake up one morning feeling great, and then all of a sudden you feel completely different, and you've got to ask yourself why. My suggestion would be to call your energy back. And we'll go through a session on that. But I mean, the easiest way to do it is just to say I call my energy back from all time and space, and I block anyone trying to come towards me. And if you do that often, you'll find that you're blocking it. Also egg cleanse as well, so do a couple of egg cleanse and get rid of any sort of negative energy. And obviously if you've got some sage and cleanse your house and get rid of any dark energy that's probably around. I mean, you're not going to get rid of all of it, but I mean, obviously mop as well, but do what you can. So why am I on here now? Because I know that people are sending confusion towards me. They're trying to sort of make us all look a bit like we don't know what we're talking about. But the problem with that is when you mess with spell work, and I'm no au fait with spell work, but actually it creates more of a problem for the person sending it, because some of the calls that I had early on this journey, there were some crazy people on the phone, and they were just honestly, they were, and you can tell that they've just gone too far with it, and they've just potentially lost their marbles a little bit. I think, bear in mind you're working for the devil, and he's going to want something in return, and if it's your mind, then that's what he's going to take if there's nothing else to take. So me personally, God is the creator of all, isn't he? Higher beings, whichever you believe in, divine. But prayer, and some people say prayer is a spell, but I mean, in the negative contents of how some people use it, yes, but not how I use it. I pray for the world, and I pray for peace, and I pray for everybody, and I send love out into the universe and healing. But there are people that manipulate. That's the world that we live in, isn't it, unfortunately? And the world is an onion, as I say. There's layers and layers and layers of different things. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about now. I'm not going to do it all on this one. Hitman and Her came, and I've got something to talk about that. Now, I know everyone's talking about Bonnie and Clyde. I actually think it's Tom and Jerry, but that's my perception on it. The help me, that I actually saw somebody trying to time jump, and basically what they were doing is they were trying to go through different portals, and they got stuck. So the help me is they got stuck doing something, i.e. the Hitman and Her, because they were messing with spell work, and they got stuck, and now they've contracted with, and this comes back to coercive control and toxicity, they've contracted with the Warlock, who's a trickster, manipulator, deceiver and a pimp, the kitchen chair witch, the plotter and the planner, the child groomer, the interceptor, the imposter and one of the copycats, the practitioners and the priests, and the flying monkeys and the copycats. Now, what do I mean by that? The world is an onion, isn't it? And there's lots of worlds within worlds, and there are people that are involved in things that you'd be surprised what they're involved in. And someone's got themselves involved with something, and they've realised now that actually what they thought the opportunity was is not what the opportunity actually is. And I think if you go back to some of my earlier recordings, the missed opportunity or the stolen opportunity, that's what I'm talking about. And when I read Romans scripture, it was talking about that type of world, and I was trying to explain that although the scripture is old and what it was saying was probably people don't live like that today, there's different choices, it was still relevant to what that person was trying to say. So in other words, they got sold a dream, but actually what the dream was something completely different, and it was very much on the dark side of life in terms of covens, cults, baby machining, and maybe the T word. You know, a lot of things that people try and say, people know happen, but they don't want to face it. So it's rather, well, it doesn't happen to me, so therefore I'm not going to go there. But it does happen, and it unfortunately is a world where people are making a lot of money on other people, and it's time to stop and stand up and say, no, actually it's not right. And in my case, like I say, people were paid to come into my life and go out of my life, and the reason for that was to try and affect my emotions so that they could energy harvest off me. And what does that mean? So energy harvesting is when people are kept on a lower vibration and people can like come in and take things from you and stuff, and if they can keep you on a low vibration, then they can absorb your energy. Now there are other ways that people do it as well, and obviously, you know, it's no secret that people do sex magic. Not that I do it, but unfortunately in my dream state I've seen things that probably, you know, because people have been trying to link into me, obviously I says, you know, you come into my energy, I'm going to see what you're doing. So, and they didn't cloak themselves. So yeah, a lot of people do that, but what they don't do is it's anything or anyone. So, you know, going back to Romans really. Anything to get a bit of energy if they've got no energy. And that goes back to my comment yesterday about narcissism. Is it narcissism or is it demonic possession? Have people sold themselves that much that they've been taken over basically? And you have to ask yourself that, you know, possibly, you know. So anyway, the cards that came out, and I've got the actual Light Seers deck here. Unfortunately, the one's a bit battered in it, so I'm going to work on the Light Seers, and I'll try and get another one of those because obviously the foil's coming off. So, but basically, from what I said about the warlock and the kitchen planning chair witch, whatever, and this is what came up. So bear in mind, lots of things have happened. People have moved out of lives and people have come into lives. And basically, I think this is the help me. So, the Queen of Pentacles. Now, the Queen of Pentacles doesn't have to be a woman. It can be a man operating in feminine energy. So, the Queen of Pentacles juggled a love offer. Juggled the Ace of Cups, isn't it? Yeah, the Ace of Cups love offer. And is now stressed and in their head, watching in hermit mode, so in isolation, in hermit mode, the opportunity, and is heartbroken and in the head about a marriage that they were waiting for, and is now burdened by the truth. Strength, needs some strength, because the King of Wands paid Remember I said people come into my life and go out of my life and people pay them to do things. Paid to take a leap of faith, to run forward and work with the King of Cups. Now again, King of Cups doesn't have to be a man, it can be a female as well. So basically what's happened is someone has realised, help me. They've got themselves into something. They took money as well to do it, so somebody paid them to do it, and now they're not in a great place. They're not happy with what they've actually took the money to do, because actually what they were sold is not what they thought it was. I've got something to read here as well, because I think this sort of sums it up a little bit as well. Think about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and what I said before, and I'll probably lean on this a little bit more, because obviously there are certain things that people do and you think that they're just a nice little old person, but actually they've got some sinister sides to them. So imagine Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and imagine the wording. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Now I've changed that. Come with me and you'll be in a world of a pure illusion. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. And I've put, take a look and you will see into your delusion. We'll begin with a spin, travelling in a world of my creation. And bear in mind, somebody has created a world that they promised, but actually what they got was completely different. What we'll see will defy explanation. Now, I think for me, when you look at the dark side of spirituality and the things that people get up to, if you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it, want to change the world, there's nothing to it. Now, there's no life I know to compare with. Pure imagination, living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. Now, I've read that because I'm not saying that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is anything to do with the sinister side of the world, and you know, please take it and use your discernment and your intuition in where I'm going. But what I am saying is that it gives you an idea of how people are drawn into things without realising what it actually is. And when you don't look at the small print and you don't look at the agreement, i.e. the contract and how you're going to get out of it, and you look at the fancy nice money and everything else, and you know, and it's all fluffy, but actually, is it really an illusion and a delusion, you know? And that's what I'm saying. So when I say some of these things, you know, some of the things that I've seen that people do, the sexcapades is one of them. The money to get the sexcapades, the targeting rich people for children, because obviously that's a cash cow, isn't it? And it's all that type of stuff. And then there's the other stuff where they target, you know, and try and take blood. And I've said on one of my early ones, you know, someone came into my house and, you know, I had a mark on my arm. So did they draw my blood or did they inject me with something? Who knows? But when you go into the mainstream, they don't understand all this, or they either do and they're part of it, or they're just so far removed from it. So that's what I'm saying. So there's a lot of other things that I'm going to talk about as well. And now you can probably understand why everyone's so keen to throw mental health on people that have awakened, because this is the real world, you know, this is what goes on, and people don't want people to know about it, but I think it's important people do, and they can make their own choices, you know. Why not? There's nothing to hide, then why not just be open and honest about it? You know, that's the way I see it. So hopefully that will make sense to those that understand where we're coming from. Coercive control and toxicity as well. Again, another, you could link that to the witchcraft of why do people use witchcraft to control, to project. They try and put illnesses on people. through practitioners. They try and play with people's minds. They try and throw confusion and chaos spells out. But my question really is, if you need to use spells, then there's something you need to really heal. Because if you cannot operate in a world where you do it the right way, then I would say there's some generational curses that need to be healed there, personally. And you know, again, they come from my stability because I have done it the right way. So it was easy to make me look as though I haven't. But my Akashic records know the truth. So it makes no difference what someone is trying to force on the physical, because the Akashic records and the spiritual realm know the truth anyway, and so do my ancestors, and so do yours. So, you know, I would be very mindful. But that was just one thing that I want to do before I post the Deuteronomy. And then hopefully, you know, we can move on to some other stuff as well. I will try and get some new cards though, because those ones are a bit battered now, aren't they? But hopefully everyone's having a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.